Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to play a tank we haven't actually played for a very long time. In fact, probably just after Wargaming removed the missiles of this tank. Of course, we are talking about the T92E1. It's actually a very good light tank in tier 9. Of course, I'm glad that Wargaming once removed the missiles. Those of you that wasn't around when the missiles were there, the missiles wasn't itself OP. In fact, not a lot of people really understood how to use the missiles. It was just more the fact that people could hide behind buildings and still get you. You could be in the best armored tank in the game, but it didn't matter because they'd just fly a missile up in the air and get you on top. But other than that, the missiles itself, like more people struggled to use missiles than people that knew how to use missiles. But it was just annoying. So I'm glad Wargaming, of course, removed the missiles. Now, other than that, you know, it's of course the Sheridan in tier 9, and the Sheridan is a great tier 10 tank. However, the tier 9 isn't as good as the Sheridan. I'll have to say that off the bat. I don't think it's nowhere near as fun as the Sheridan. There's a few things that it could do, could be better with, and we will talk through them. So we're going to look at all the armor profile, then get into a couple of battles. So of course the DPM is very low at 1953. That is obviously because it has the higher alpha with a 17.2 second reload. So yeah, very high reload on this thing, and that's one thing that I think this tank could actually deal with now, is just a little bit less on that reload. But that's my personal opinion. That's just playing it for the last couple of games. So your penetration 220 on your APCR, 350 on your heat, and 97 on your HE. So yeah, not too bad for the penetration there. You've got a 560 alpha gun, 490 on your heat, and 680 on your HE. Yeah, I'd like to see that maybe 600 alpha with 500, just over 500 and say 50 or something like that, or 520, something like that for the heat, because 490, you know, you're waiting so long, and if you do have to shoot your heat, which sometimes you will have to coming up against tier 10, and when you do 490, actually sometimes you could do a lot less than 490. It does kind of suck. HE is 680. Aim time 3.9 for what it is. I don't think is that bad. The same as the gun dispersion at 0.380. It has 8 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 65 kilometers per hour. Now the average speed is actually 44, and that's one thing I would change on there. I don't even know what it is about the tank, but you know, you look at the tank and it says it goes 65 kilometers an hour, but playing it just feels a little bit sluggish for me. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because it takes its time to get there. But I would make the tank a bit more, to accelerate a bit better, so it reaches that top speed a lot quicker. Other than that, you know, I think it is an enjoyable tank to play. Of course, you do have to make sure that you aim every single shot, because you don't want to be missing, because 17.5 seconds almost on your reload is a long reload, especially when you are coming up against other light tanks, other medium tanks that have around about 3,500 DPM. So do bear that in mind when you take a shot. Make sure that you're not wasting that shot. But I think overall that it's definitely worth a grind. You know, it's definitely worth grinding. The Sheridan, again, in tier 10, it is an amazing tank. Very similar to this, but I think it is a lot better. It feels a lot quicker. And again, the Sheridan is one of those tanks where you can fire and then run away, and that is what you can do with this tank. You know, you can fire, take the shot, and use the mobility to get around, but again, it does take a little while to get to where you want it to be. But yeah, it is one of those tanks. Very nice alpha, and you can have to try and use that. Now, luckily, I don't know what that BZ75 was aiming for, but I'll take it. I'll take it because he absolutely missed me. So yeah, it's definitely worth grinding. it definitely is worth grinding. It can be a fun tank. You've just got to realise how to play the tank. What is the best way to play the tank? Do you do what I'm doing, kind of like here, have a bit of support, play front line or second line at the side, or do you simply take your shot, then run away? Now, stupidly, I do get shot there. I thought maybe up behind a bush, I might have reset my camo, but yeah, clearly not. Clearly, I did not. Even though I don't play at these couple of games that you watch, but most light tanks, especially light tanks with either auto-loaders or high alpha, I do like the hit and run. I love the hit and run gameplay. I think it's more fun because you're constantly doing something. You're constantly looking around the map. You're constantly trying to aim, and you're constantly just trying to shoot. So you're always doing something when you play the hit and run. I don't like to play up close and personal like this, where you're just hiding behind a rock, because it doesn't really have the armor profile to do that. And of course, it's got no armor profile. You're a light tank. Your turret might be able to bounce the odd two, but when this tank was first released, of course, it was, a lot of people were saying it was more OP than the Sheridan itself. I'm not so sure, but of course Wargaming adjusted all that, and it's, of course, it's not as fun as it used to be. So yeah, that's basically it. You know, there's a couple of light tanks in tier 9, and I think overall in tier 9, there's not amazing light tanks. You know, it's not like tier 10 where you've got very good light tanks. The Batchat, for example, in tier 10, the tier 9 is nowhere near as good as the tier 10, and pretty much the same with this. And there are a few other tanks as well. The Vickers, you know, I don't think the Vickers is better than the Vickers Cruiser, or no, sorry, the Vickers light tank. But you know, it's a tier lower. You don't expect it to be better, but they're still fun tanks to play. They can do damage, they can cause a lot of damage if you play it correctly, and you can actually hold up your own against tier 10. Like we're coming up against tier 10 here. Obviously, you're not gonna bounce hardly anything, so again, do bear that in mind. It's all about that alpha, really, and you have to, again, I mean, 488 is pretty low for the reload that this tank has got, and we had no choice really. We had to use the heat. We're not going to penetrate that guy with our standard round, or it'll be very tough to penetrate the E100 with standard rounds, unless you have got the bottom plate, but even that can be a little bit tricky. So we're just going to finish up. There's 4 tanks left alive. I really don't want to get shot from the Death Star. I'm running towards the Jaegeru because basically he's full hit points. He's on his own. I'm on my own. If I can get around him, if I can get him in the middle, then happy days. And that's exactly where I got him. But again, I know we're going up a hill, but I feel it could have got up that hill a little bit quicker. But at least I managed to get behind him. At least I managed to keep him there whilst I'm reloading. And again, when he's stuck on a rock like that, there's not really too much you can do. 607 alpha there, so you know you can still get the high alpha shots. Now, this is where I'm thinking, okay, he's got me, but I don't know what he's doing here. I don't know if he can get me or if his gun is just above my tank. I don't know, but I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go around anyway, and I'm going to get the shot. But stupidly, I have got heat. I don't know why I've got heat. So yeah, 440, which really does suck. And then it's game over. So let me know your thoughts on this light tank. Again, it is a good light tank, but yeah, nothing compared to the Sheridan, in my opinion. There are going to be players out there that will prefer this than the Sheridan, and if you do, if you're one of those players, let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all soon. Bye bye.